feelings on safety, so I don't go shooting where your heart be.
Hey, this your girl Ish, and I am coming to you with story time. Nope, not a bad time story. I know you think about a story time, you think about bad time story with your kids, or laid up with boo and you just having like a pillow talk or whatever. No, this is story time. Everyone in life has a story, including me. So I'm gonna start with telling you guys my story, and then later on you can tell me your story. And we can also always talk about different topics or whatever, but I want to get to know everyone because everyone in this world has a different story. But sometimes you never have no one to even tell the story to because people are so caught up in their own lives that they never take the time out to listen to your story. So I'm that girl that's gonna listen to your story. So here I go with my story first. So I'm 36 years old. I was born Aisha Gordon. I was born to two lovely parents, Beverly and Gregory. Yes, that's my mom and my dad. I was born in New Jersey. I was raised in Florida. I lived here all my life. We moved down here, I guess, when I was a little baby. I don't know exactly what age. I got to ask my mom or my dad that. But I moved down to Florida, so I've been living here my whole life. I went to Brentwood Elementary. My middle school was Perry Elementary. That's in Broward. And then I went off to Norland Middle. That's in Dade County. And then we moved back and I went, no, we stayed over there. I went to Norland Senior High. I later got pregnant with my daughter and we moved over to Broward, and I started to go to this school called Hollandale Adult. That's a school that you can bring your kids to school with you if you're a teen parent, or I think older people went there too. I'm not really sure, but I know for a fact that it was a lot of young girls, a lot of young teenage moms that came there with their babies, and the bus would pick us up and drop us off. But before I moved to Broward County, I went to this school called Cope, and that school is something just like Hollandale Adult, but the only difference is that it's only girls at that school. There's no men, nobody else but girls, pregnant girls or girls that just had a baby. So that was kind of like, I didn't really like it there. So later on, my mom moved us over to Broward County, and then that's when I attended the school called Hollandale Adult. And oh yeah, and you see guys, I'm actually in my PJs because when you think of story time, you're in the bed, you're reading a bedtime story. So I just wore my PJs, and it's Christmas time, so I love Christmas. So I decided to wear my Christmas PJs for you guys. So just excuse my nightgown. Anyway, so yeah, so I went to the school called Cope, and after I left Cope, I think I was maybe like around 5 or 6 months, and I left Cope and I went to Honda Adult. And then I had my daughter early. She was supposed to be due December 23rd, December 23rd, 1997. But I ended up having her October 23rd, 1997. She weighed in 2 pounds, 14 ounces. It's a girl. Her name's Equasia Oakley. I had her from my past boyfriend, my first boyfriend, I should say. Well, I guess my first real relationship, because I had like a little puppy love in school. I had boyfriends in high school. So, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I had my first daughter. Her name's Equasia. And I had her from my first guy that I talked to or whatever. And Equasia was born early. She was supposed to come on the December 23rd, like I said, but she came October 23rd, and she weighed in 2 pounds, 14 ounces, a little baby. Yeah, so when I had her, I was only 15 years old. I was a teen mom, and it was a bit, people was looking like, oh, you had a baby so early, oh, you're so young. Oh, people had a lot of things to say, like, oh, teen moms can't do nothing with that stuff. Teen moms won't be able to take care of a child. There's no way she's gonna be, a good child because you're a teen mom. How could a young person? I keep on looking up. I don't know why. I think it's my lashes. Oh yeah. By the way, on the extensions. Yeah. So I had her, and I had a lot of people that doubted me. That said that teen parents, not me, but just saying in general that teen parents are just not what it is, and I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that you should go out there and have you a baby at 15 years old and, it's the best thing ever. Yeah. But I'm also not saying that it's a bad thing either, because you know what? It's God's plan. So I feel like whatever God has planned for you it is what it is. So my story, my journey, my plan that God had for me at that age and that time was to be a mom. And I didn't want to go against his will, because I feel like if I got pregnant at 15, that was God's will. And if he didn't want me to have a baby at 15, it's other things that could happen, like a miscarriage or, something like that. But none of that went down. So I feel like that was his plan. So I went ahead and I went through with the pregnancy, and she was early, and her biological dad was there for the first couple of months. He was there for delivery. He was much older than me. So my mom was like, that's an old guy, okay? And I don't think that you should be with him. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I love him, so I don't care. So that was that. Sorry, y'all, got like a little sniffle too. So, so the day when I went into labor, they tried to stop the labor. I'm going back and forth, y'all. I hope y'all understand that it is story time. So you can tell your story however you want to say it and however you want to go back and forth, because it's story time. So it's no rule in telling your story. So if I go back and forth, y'all just stay with me, because it's a story. It's a real story too. So anyway, when I went into labor, they tried to stop my labor for 2 weeks. So I went into the hospital. They tried to stop the labor. I went in at 30 weeks, and they tried to stop it for 2 weeks. So I had 32 weeks. And the doctor was like, oh, if you have her so early, her lungs is not going to be developed, and da-da-da-da. But mind y'all, they was giving me shots. This shot's called steroids to be able to develop her lungs. So I'm like, if you guys are giving me this shot to develop her lung, we should be cool. And it was like, yeah, but you never know, da-da-da-da-da, trying to scare me off to make me just be like, okay, well, I'm going to stay in the hospital for the rest of my whole pregnancy. I'm like, no, whatever it is, let it be. I said, God got this, okay? I said, God brought me this far, and he knows why I'm in premature labor, and he's going to go by that, whatever. So I did do all the shots for her lungs to be developed. And so 11:36 p.m. on the 23rd of October, my water broke. They couldn't stop it no more. They was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She's going to labor. They had all these people come, like from the NICU, from every department in the hospital, I guess. And they came rushing in. So when they came in, they was like, we got to go ahead and have a baby. So anyway, long story short, the water broke, and I had to have her. When this baby came out, they told me that she may not be crying. They will have to have the oxygen on her right away, because there's no way that this 32-week pregnancy baby is going to come out crying. Guess what? Didn't I tell you I was God's plan? She came out screaming, okay? Not just crying. She came out screaming to the top of her lungs. The doctor stopped and was like, and I was like, yup, she crying. So they was like, oh, you should be on oxygen, da-da-da. No oxygen. They took her over to the NICU. They was like, oh, they had to put IV in her. She had to get fluid. She not be able to suck on her own, drink her bottle on her own. She had to be da-da-da. I was like, all right, cool. So they did that. They cleaned me up, got me right. So as soon as I was able to go, I was like, I want to go see my baby. They were like, oh, you have to wait. Da-da-da. So I was like, all right, whatever. So finally, I went to go see her. And the baby was, I wish I had something in here to show you guys. She was like this big. Her head fit in the palm of my hand, and her body was a little bit over right here. And I was like, so little old me, 15 years old, with a premature baby, and she is dependent on me. Okay? So they was like, okay, she got to stay in the hospital for maybe like the next 8 weeks, because she was 8 weeks early. So I was like, dang, that's a long time or whatever. They're like, yes, you got to leave her, come and visit her, go home, come back. And I was like, I don't want to leave her. They was like, well, ma'am, you have to leave her because she cannot be here. I mean, because you can't, we have nowhere to put you or whatever. So me and my cousins and my sisters and everybody was like, you know what? We're going to make sure we go up there every day to see her. We got her. So anyway, she was too little to drink a bottle. They didn't want to stress her out, so they had her drinking through a tube. And they put a tube down her nose, and it will go down to her stomach. So they will put the fluids inside of the tube to make her, get full. But she never used no sucking energy or whatever. So they was like, until she's able to hold her weight and do all that kind of stuff. They don't want to stress her out. So they just fed her the thing through the tube. And a couple of weeks later, she started to drink from a bottle. She was never on oxygen. Every baby in there had the IV in their head. And guess what? Quasia had her IV in her arm. They was like, what? It was like, we never find a vein on a preemie in the arm. We all had to do to the head. So I was so happy for that. So after that went by, whatever, they was like, oh, you know, we got to move her from the incubator to a crib. She got to hold her temperature. You know, it was different stages to it. And those out there that have a preemie baby knows the different stages or whatever. So I don't want to bore y'all on all the steps to her coming home. But 5 weeks later, she was able to come home. And that was the best day of my life. I was so excited.